At 14:49 hours, on a classified date in late 2024, a Russian Sukhoi 35 fighter pilot detected contacts that shouldn't have existed, 625 kilometers deep inside Russian territory. His radar system showed 10 targets that would fundamentally alter modern warfare doctrine. What transpired over the next 97 minutes demonstrated that aerial warfare's future belongs not to the fastest or strongest, but to the smartest. This is how 10 Ukrainian unmanned aerial vehicles accomplished the impossible. A successful deep penetration strike against one of Russia's most protected military-industrial facilities. 10 Ukrainian long-range unmanned combat aerial vehicles departed from classified locations in western Ukraine, each weighing 50 kilograms and carrying 12-kilogram high-explosive warheads. They targeted joint stock company Radiozavod in Penza Oblast, a facility manufacturing Polyana D4M1 command and control systems coordinating Russia's entire Western Military District air defense network. The challenge was audacious. Russia's Western air defense represents the most sophisticated integrated system ever deployed in combat. Multiple overlapping radar zones, fighter combat air patrols, surface-to-air missile batteries every 40 kilometers, and electronic warfare assets capable of jamming across the entire electromagnetic spectrum. Military analysts calculated that penetrating even 100 kilometers would require suppression operations involving dozens of aircraft. These 10 drones would attempt it alone. Each platform measured 3.2 meters length with 4.8 meter wingspan. Composite construction, with radar-absorbent materials coating every surface. Their radar cross-section, 0.0 to 2 square meters. A typical fighter presents 5 to 15 square meters. These drones were 50 times smaller than what Russian systems were calibrated to detect. The Russian pilot's Urbis-E passive electronically scanned array radar generated 20 kilowatts of power, detecting fighter-sized targets at 250 kilometers. Against bombers, effective range exceeded 400 kilometers. But at 14:49 hours, this system struggled. 10 contacts flickered at 43 kilometers, dropping below detection threshold, then reappearing. The pilot narrowed his beam width, increasing dwell time. That's when he noticed the pattern. Each drone's propeller, spinning at 7,400 revolutions per minute, created rhythmic modulation in radar returns. This propeller blade flash produced a distinctive signature screaming unmanned aerial vehicle to trained operators. Range, 18 kilometers. The pilot's Sukhoi 35 carried 4 R-77-1 air-to-air missiles, each capable of Mach 4.5. 2 missiles launched in rapid succession. Flight time, 13 seconds. The pilot watched with hunter's confidence. These drones, flying barely 290 kilometers per hour, couldn't possibly evade Mach 4 missiles. Except they weren't trying to outrun them. At 9 seconds before impact, all 10 drones simultaneously cut their engines. 10 solid contacts vanished from radar. The missiles, committed to intercept trajectories, suddenly had nothing to guide against. Their processors frantically swept radar beams across predicted zones, searching for contacts that ceased to exist. The physics reveals brilliance. At 50 meters altitude, every radar pulse bounces off ground, creating mirror images. When real targets disappear by cutting radar signatures to nearly zero, ground reflections become dominant returns. The missile's guidance computers had 0.3 seconds to discriminate. With drones now powerless and coasting, presenting virtually no signature, the seekers locked onto ground returns. The first R-77-1 impacted Russian farmland at Mach 4, wasting its 18-kilogram warhead on empty soil. The second followed 3 seconds later. $2 million of weaponry accomplished agricultural excavation. But Drone 3 made a different calculation. Maximum throttle, full climb to 500 meters. Its screaming engine created undeniable radar signature. The pilot launched 2 more missiles immediately. This time, cooperative target. Drone 3 maintained climb and power. Both missiles achieved solid lock. Impact at 22 seconds. 1 Ukrainian drone destroyed, allowing 8 others to survive. The remaining 9 restarted engines at 3 seconds after detonation. 9 propellers spun up. 9 engines hummed back. 9 shadows resumed eastward at 45 meters altitude. The drone scattered across 12 kilometers. The pilot faced mathematical impossibility. 9 targets spread across 12 kilometers. Fuel for 1 more pass. 3 minutes needed to re-engage. By then, they'd be 15 kilometers further east. At 15:38 hours, 9 survivors reached Borisoglebsk Oblast. 500 meters separation, 75 meters altitude, maintaining 290 kilometers per hour. The lead drone's GPS receiver showed 12 satellites locked, then 11, then 7, then nothing. Not gradual degradation, but instantaneous electronic blackout. Borisoglebsk-2 electronic warfare system, mounted on 4 MTLB armored vehicles arranged in diamond pattern. Each vehicle pumps 100 watts of precisely tuned interference. GPS satellites whisper at 0.025 watts from 20,000 kilometers. Borisoglebsk-2 screams at 100 watts from 8 kilometers, 4,000 times stronger than signals it destroys. Navigation displays went dark. 8 kilometers north, Moskva 1 electronic intelligence system waited. 3 antenna arrays positioned in perfect triangle, synchronized to nanosecond precision via atomic clocks. Not transmitting, which would reveal position. Listening for drones to make mistakes. Direction-finding mathematics. Radio signals travel at light speed. When transmissions arrive at multiple antennas at different times, 1 microsecond difference means emitter is 299.8 meters closer to one station. 3 stations create 3 time differences, generating 2 hyperbolic curves. Where curves intersect. Target location. Accuracy. 50 meters at 40 kilometers. 8 drones maintained absolute electromagnetic discipline. No transmissions, no active sensors. They flew on pure inertial navigation. Mechanical gyroscopes accumulating 10 degrees per hour heading error. At 3 hours flight time, 300 meters lateral drift. By Penza, they could miss the entire facility. At 15:41 hours, the lead drone transmitted for exactly 2 seconds. GPS request. Position update. Formation sync. Moskva 1 displays lit up instantly. Targeting data flashed to 3 S-300 batteries in milliseconds. 6 missiles airborne within 8 seconds. The 48 N6 missiles accelerated to Mach 5.5, 2,000 meters per second, reaching coordinates in 40 seconds. But the lead drone executed survival protocol. Bank hard left 45 degrees, climbed to 200 meters while transmitting continuously. It painted itself across every radar scope. Electromagnetic sacrifice, saving 8 companions. Missiles arrived at empty airspace. Proximity fuses found nothing but signal ghosts. 180-kilogram warheads detonated in sequence, peppering farmland. Meanwhile, 8 drones received critical navigation update. Errors corrected, position confirmed. They pressed eastward in perfect silence while their leader drew missiles. 6 more found the decoy, then 4, then 12. The operator watched the signal disappear. 1 more drone destroyed, but something felt wrong. 8 shadows continued east at 45 meters. Navigation true again thanks to 2 seconds of sacrifice. They believed themselves invisible. They had no idea that 12 kilometers away, a different detection system had tracked them for 6 minutes. One requiring no radio waves at all. At 1600 hours, 8 survivors entered Penza Oblast. 30 meters altitude, engines at minimum sustainable revolutions per minute. They defeated fighters and electronic warfare, now invisible. No radar emissions, no radio signals, just mechanical whispers. The first missile launch shocked because it arrived without warning. No radar lock, no targeting laser, no electronic warfare indicators. Just sudden rocket roar and terrible knowledge that Russians knew exactly where they were. The 1B-75 Penicillin acoustic reconnaissance system had listened for 12 minutes. 8 microphones in precise geometric pattern, each detecting helicopters at 7 kilometers or drones at 12. Sound travels at 343 meters per second. When drone engine whine reaches the array, each microphone records different arrival times. Computers process time differences through triangulation, 16,000 samples per second, building 3-dimensional maps of every sound source. But what made penicillin lethal was acoustic fingerprinting. Every engine produces fundamental frequency plus harmonics, identifying it like DNA. Chinese engines in these Ukrainian drones operate at exactly 7,400 revolutions per minute. Russian intelligence had trained penicillin on captured drones. The system knew that signature perfectly. The Tor M2 battery commander chose blind fire, trusting acoustic data. The first 9M38 missile departed, tracking purely on penicillin coordinates. 13 seconds of electromagnetic silence, accelerating to Mach 2.5. The drone's radar warning receivers showed nothing. First warning came as sound. Rocket roar growing louder. At 2 kilometers from intercept, terminal radar activated. 2 seconds warning. The lead drone climbed maximum performance. 3 G-forces. Composite wings flexing to engineering limits. Proximity fuse triggered at 47 meters. 3,500 tungsten cubes expelled in fragmentation pattern. Each fragment traveled at 2,100 meters per second. The lead drone transformed into aluminum confetti in 0.3 seconds. But its destruction saved others. Surviving drones implemented random throttle variations. 50% power, then 100%, then 70, then 40. Constantly changing engine tones destroyed penicillin's firing solution. The acoustic system required consistent signatures. Doppler shifts from rapidly changing velocities ruined calculations. The third missile went active prematurely due to software malfunction. Extra 2 seconds warning meant survival. 3 drones dove to 5 meters over farmland, accepting insane collision risk with power lines. They skimmed above wheat stubble, so low their propeller wash kicked up dust. The missile couldn't follow. Minimum engagement altitude, 10 meters. Its proximity fuse couldn't distinguish drone from ground reflection. Detonated harmlessly above. The fourth missile found Drone 7 lagging behind. Direct hit. 6 survivors pressed east at maximum throttle. Stealth pointless now. Russians knew exactly where they were. Speed was only defense. 47 kilometers remaining. 290 kilometers per hour. 9.7 minutes to impact. Penicillin operator relayed trajectory to Penza air defense. 6 drones bearing 247 degrees. Altitude below 50 meters. Speed 290. Arrival 9 minutes. Defenders had just enough time to prepare something turning drones' navigation systems against them. At 16:15 hours, 6 Ukrainian drones approached joint stock company Radiozavod from southwest. 40 hectares of industrial buildings, parking lots, windows reflecting sunlight. Day shift at full production. 300 workers manufacturing Pollyanna D4M1 systems. At 800 meters from perimeter, reality went insane. The Pol 21 GPS spoofing system. 4 transmitters around the complex, each broadcasting 500 watts of fraudulent GPS signals. Not simple jamming blocking signals. Far more sinister. Perfect GPS data for wrong locations. Every satellite signal showed drones 3 kilometers south, 500 meters higher, traveling east instead of north. The lead drone's processor detected anomaly immediately. Visual sensors showed facility dead ahead at 800 meters. GPS showed empty farmland. Inertial navigation calculated continuing straight. Magnetic compass agreed, but GPS insisted. Execute 90-degree right turn. Climb 500 meters, fly away from target. Unsolvable processing paradox. Flight control programmed to trust GPS above all else. But GPS screamed contradictory commands. Turn right, no left, climb, descend. Autopilot began oscillating wildly, attempting to reconcile impossible data. Worse, spoofing wasn't consistent. False signals shifted every 3 seconds, showing drones in different fabricated positions. One moment over Penza Airport, next hovering above Sura River, then inside non-existent mountain. Navigation processor calculating routes between rapidly changing false positions generated random course corrections. Control surfaces rocked left and right violently as conflicting commands fought for authority. Artificial horizon showed level flight, while visual sensors showed 30-degree banks. Radar altimeter read 45 meters, while GPS claimed 545. Every instrument contradicted every other. 5 seconds of this chaos would tear airframes apart or cause terrain impact. The lead drone made the only choice possible. Trust mission profile. Maintain heading. Maintain altitude. Ignore GPS entirely. It emerged from spoofing zone over Building 3 through pure chance. With 200 meters inertial drift, it could have emerged anywhere. But optical camera locked onto distinctive roof configuration of Pollyanna D4M1 assembly building. Terminal attack. 47-degree dive. 97 meters per second impact velocity. Impact at 16:20 hours. Explosion ripped through assembly floor, rupturing 3 chemical storage tanks. Trichloroethylene for degreasing, acetone for cleaning, hydrogen peroxide for etching. The mixture created fuel-air explosion, traveling at 1,800 meters per second, transforming building into inferno. The second drone observed explosion, smoke pillar rising ahead, fire meant target. Adjusted course toward flames and dove. Building 7 took direct hit 20 seconds later. Third, fourth, and fifth drones arrived simultaneously from different vectors, all targeting thermal bloom. One struck transformer station, creating electromagnetic pulse, crashing every computer within 500 meters. 2 others hit component warehouse, igniting 6 months of stored lithium-ion batteries. The 6th drone arrived at 16:23. Facility already an inferno of 12,000-degree flames. It circled once, camera recording destruction, then dove into the only structure not yet burning. The Pollyanna D4M1 production line was gone. This system coordinates data between S-300 and S-400 surface to air missile batteries, providing unified air picture and automated engagement coordination. Without it, individual batteries operate independently, tripling reaction times and creating coordination gaps enemy aircraft can exploit. This strike demonstrated revolutionary warfare concepts. Sophisticated air defenses can be defeated not through overwhelming force, but through intelligent exploitation of fundamental operating principles. The drones used physics as weapons equally potent as explosives. Radar ground clutter, acoustic Doppler shift, GPS spoofing vulnerabilities. Sacrificial tactics in unmanned systems fundamentally change combat calculus. Losing 4 drones to ensure 6 reach target is acceptable when platforms cost tens of thousands rather than tens of millions. No human pilots lost, no prisoners taken, no political consequences from casualties. Deep penetration strikes no longer require stealth bombers and massive support packages. 10 drones, total program cost under $1 million. Accomplished what previously required dozens of aircraft, hundreds of personnel, and billion-dollar platform. Air defense networks designed to counter fighter jets and cruise missiles struggle against small, slow, intelligent unmanned systems. Electronic warfare optimized for high-power military radios proves nearly useless against platforms operating in electromagnetic silence. Acoustic detection works brilliantly until targets randomize signatures. Most significantly, this strike demonstrated that future warfare belongs to systems capable of autonomous decision-making under impossible conditions. The drones that survived did so by choosing when to sacrifice stealth for speed, when to trust inertial navigation over GPS, when to execute evasive maneuvers without human authorization. Human operators could not have made those decisions fast enough. At joint stock company Radiozavod, flames burned for 14 hours. Production capacity eliminated for minimum 18 months. Russian S-300 and S-400 batteries across Western Military District. Now operating with degraded coordination and tripled response time. Cost to Ukraine, 4 drones and approximately $400,000. Cost to Russia, strategic air defense capability and psychological knowledge that nowhere is safe. The mathematics of modern warfare have fundamentally changed, and somewhere in Ukrainian territory, they're already planning the next impossible mission. If you found this story compelling and want to explore more powerful moments in modern military aviation, please consider subscribing to the channel. Your support helps us bring you deeper insights and real stories from the front lines. Thank you for listening. Until next time, stay safe and take care. Goodbye for now.